Hopefully you all can hear me. And I just wanted to welcome you today. I'm Ashley, if you don't know me. Will be a prenatal class for all levels, all trimesters. I will offer some modifications if you would like. And just if you have two blocks, that would be great to use just to bring the earth a little bit closer to you during practice. If you don't, you can use a stack of books, a stool, a overturned, like a pot or a bowl to just bring the earth a little bit closer to you. I have myself elevated on a bolster. It could also be a block if you would choose. It just allows the hips a little bit more space as we find this comfortable seat. So I invite you now to just find that seat and start to close your eyes as we move inward. Taking a few deep breaths here as you settle into this space. And I want you to start to bring an awareness into your body, into this space. So no matter what is happening outside of your body, maybe that's pets nearby or sounds from the outside world, just allowing everything to move into your center. And at first, just noticing the way the body feels today. Maybe there is a little bit of achiness. Maybe there's a little bit of sleepiness. Maybe the body feels really good. And just noticing all of that. And then going in a little bit deeper, noticing the energy of the body. Again, maybe you're feeling bubbly, happy. Maybe you're feeling some sluggishness. Maybe you're feeling a little wired or stressed. Just allowing yourself to notice. And then bringing this awareness into the mind. So noticing the thoughts that are going through the head. Maybe if something is pulling you forward into this coming week or pulling you backward into the week behind us. Allowing yourself to anchor to this moment. What's going on right now. And then beginning to focus on the breath. So again, without changing anything, noticing the breath. Noticing the quality of the breath, the quantity of the breath. Noticing the inhale and the exhale. Noticing whether it's getting a little bit harder to breathe as baby grows. And then take your breath deeper. So take your breath all the way down into your belly, feeling your belly and your baby move with your breath. Feeling the expansion of the inhale and the contraction of the exhale. Feel the left side of the rib cage move away from the right side of the rib cage in the expansion. And feel the entire back body engage on the contraction or the exhale. The front of the body also moves away from the back side of body on the inhale. And exhaling, everything begins to come back together, meeting at your center. Focus on the tip of your nose where you can feel the in-breath moving in and feel the out-breath moving. And something for this entire practice today, a little mantra of this moment, this breath. Continue to take these big, expansive inhalations, growing each breath bigger than the one before, and allowing the body to soften around every exhale. Try to meet your inhale and your exhale. So if you're breathing in for a count of 3, 4, or 5, the exhale should be the same count of 3, 4, or 5. This moment, this breath. Maybe you can sit up a little bit taller, allowing for even more breath to come in. And take 3 more breaths just like this, establishing the breath for the practice as we prepare the body for movement. If your eyes are closed, you can bring them to a soft gaze, opening them, or keep them closed. With your hands at your thighs, begin to move your torso into circles, taking whatever direction first. And they can be a small movement, and gradually with every circle getting a little bit bigger. Continuing to take those slow, deep breaths. And then switch directions of the circle. You can think of it as a funnel, so we can start really big and then make the circles smaller, or vice versa. And as you come back to center this time, sitting up tall with that inhale, start to reach your arms around and up, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. And exhale, hands together as they come into your heart center. Again, inhale to reach around and up, finding length with your breath on both sides of the body. And exhale, hands together in at your heart. And again, one more time, reaching up, maybe growing the breath a little bit more, maybe growing the spine in length. And exhale, hands into your heart. And take a moment here to set your intention for your practice today. Maybe a reason that you tuned in or found some space on your mat. And then with a big inhale, reach your arms around and up. And with your exhale, bring the right hand down to the mat and begin to hinge over toward the right. So keeping the sit bones weighted evenly and making sure that the rib cage is actually on the back of the body. So we're not thrusting the rib cage forward. And the further your hand is away from you, the deeper the side body stretch. We want to think about finding more space from the left hip all the way to the left fingertips, keeping a small micro bend in that right elbow. And then see if you can get a little bit more horizontal or shining your heart through. So think about stacking the left rib cage on top of the right. And take a deep breath into your side body, feeling the breath expand between your ribs. And inhale to come back up to center. Both hands reach up. And exhale the left hand down to the left side of the mat and hinge over toward this opposite side. Again, both sit bones are rooted evenly. The ribs are on the back of the body. And just breathing into this right side of your body this time, finding space with your breath from the hip to the fingertip. Your gaze can look straight ahead, or it can look down toward the earth or up toward the ceiling. Finding more expansion here, possibly making a little bit more space for baby, taking the deep breaths in and out through the nose. And with your next inhale, coming back up to center, both hands reach up. And then float your hands down to a wide V. So shrug your shoulders up to your ears and allow the shoulder blades to settle onto the back. Do that a couple more times. And on the next movement, take your brain into the shoulder blades and feel the shoulder blades move down the back. So rather than shrugging your shoulders with the shoulders, think about moving into the shoulders and allowing those shoulder blades to settle. And then as you're ready, taking the fingers out to the side in this V. So my fingertips are not touching the earth. They're just above, maybe an inch or two. So allowing the shoulder blades down the back and to press the fingers toward the earth. And then take your chin to your chest and press the back of the head up toward the ceiling. So it feels like a tuck of the chin so that you get a deeper stretch on the back of the neck. And then keeping that chin tucked, begin to lift your chin up. So we have created more space in the cervical spine. So what we tend to do, and I'm going to shift to the side for a second so that you can see me, is in our everyday posture, what tends to happen is we jut the head forward. So what we're trying to do with that chin tuck is to bring the chin down so that there's more length in the neck. So keeping that now, and the arms are straight out to the side. So keeping that chin tucked, begin to move your right ear laterally toward your shoulder. Now, if we jut the chin up, we can take our ear almost to our shoulder. We're not looking for that big of a movement. So we want to tuck the chin back and then start to just move the ear toward the shoulder. So see the difference between my neck here or my head and this movement here, rather than if I move the chin forward and can lay my head down. So find that spot. And it's just a lateral movement. And then really reach down through the left set of fingertips. So you should feel a nice stretch along the left side of the neck. You can stay right here, or you can bend your elbow, bringing your right hand to the top of your head. And there's not a ton of pressure, it's just a little bit of weight from the hand. And breathe deep here. Find your breath again. Keep reaching through the fingertips toward the earth, allowing the shoulder to soften with every exhale, and breathing space into this neck. So allowing all of the weight of the shoulds and the coulds and the woulds to lighten. We tend to put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and just allowing those to soften with every breath. One more big breath into baby, and then release the right hand down to the earth. Begin to tuck the chin back to the chest, maybe moving from side to side. maybe noticing a difference from side to side. And taking a deep breath in, tucking the chin again, finding length on the back of the head, and then beginning to stack the neck on the rest of the spine. So keeping that length through the cervical spine. This time the neck or the left ear moves toward the left shoulder. Again, noticing whether you thrust or jut the chin forward. So we want to bring the palate of the mouth on top of the rest of the spine. So find that and gently take the left ear to the left shoulder and allow the right shoulder to soften. There might be a slight difference on the side. All of us have a side of our body that we favor. So just noticing, not giving it any weight or judgment, just to notice. And then if you would like a little bit to go a little bit more, this is where we bend the left elbow, taking the left hand to the top of the right ear. And breathing deep into this side of the neck. Sometimes if there's something that's weighing heavy on my mind, I like to picture that or picture a word that goes with that stress, and I like to breathe it away. So with every exhale, I imagine that it's just dust beginning to blow away and soften. Keep reaching more to the earth, allowing the shoulder to soften with every exhale. And then if you have your hand on top of the head, beginning to unwind that, bringing the hand back down into this wide V and tucking the chin back down. Your hands can come to your thighs as you begin to take your neck and your head into bigger circles. If a circle doesn't feel right for you at this moment, you can just take your head from side to side, or maybe just moving the chin down with the chest. Keeping those big breaths. Remember that this breath anchors you to this moment. So this moment, this breath. And then as you're ready, crawling forward onto your hands and your knees, I'm going to turn so that you can see me. So you can move whatever prop you might have had out of the way. And from here, I'd like to advise you to tuck your toes. That gives the hormones through the body a little bit more stability. So if you can tuck your toes, press into the toes and engage the legs. The knees are stacked right underneath the hips and the wrists are right underneath your shoulders. Keeping a small bend in the elbows so there's some softness there, and then pressing into all 10 pads of the fingers to take pressure off of your wrists. From here, with your inhale, lift the tailbone up toward the ceiling and exhale to round the tailbone underneath. Again, these are just moving from the pelvis. So again, with your inhale, lift the tailbone up and exhale to round the tailbone underneath. Noticing this intentional movement, paying attention. Again, lifting up through the tailbone with your inhale and exhale to round the tailbone underneath. Take one more full round of breath, just with your own perfect breath pace. And then begin to grow this pose into whatever you would like. You can round through the spine like a cat. You can come back to that neutral spine and tuck a shoulder toward a hip. Just being mindful not to go arch your back too much coming into a full cow like this. That puts a lot of pressure on the baby, or not on the baby, but on the belly, on that linea alba. So just being mindful, taking a few more breaths as to move as you feel comfortable in this organic, intentional way, what is best for your body. And then as you're ready, making your way into this neutral spine. With your inhale, reach your right leg back behind you. Keep your toes on the ground and press through your heel, finding length through the body. So feeling that nice stretch on the back of the leg, maybe all the way up to your SI joint at the hip. Feel the torso pulling you forward. And with your exhale, the knee comes back in to meet the other. And inhale, the left leg back behind you. Toes stay on the ground, pressing through your heel. Crown of the head moves forward, finding length through the entire back side of the body. And the breath is full, so this is a nice opportunity to feel the exhale on the back of the body. So noticing that as we breathe, even with that soft belly, that the exhale, all of the muscles on the back come back to contract in. And then bringing the left knee in to meet the other. From here, with your inhale, lift your right hand out in front of you and your left leg back behind you. Now from this spinal balance, we want the shoulders even to the earth and the hips even to the earth. So that might mean that you drop your leg a little bit. So we don't want this. It doesn't really matter how high you can lift your arm or your leg. We want to make a straight line. So as we reach forward and as we reach behind us, feeling like we're being pulled in these opposite directions, we're also hugging into the center line. Keep your breath full and the belly soft. Take one more big inhale here. Listen carefully. Leave your left leg lifted. Drop your right hand down to the earth. Kickstand the right leg off to the side of the mat and transfer on to that right hand for a Vashisthasana or side plank. Now, if this is too much for you, please lower your leg. It's not a weakness, just an honoring of your body. Now lift up through that right hip. Think about stacking your left hip on top of the right and your left shoulder on top of the right shoulder. Now keeping a small micro bend in that right elbow so that we use the muscles rather than the joint. And lifting up even more through that right hip, finding more length on the opposite side of the body. Now you can keep this lifted arm reaching straight up, or if you want more of a side body stretch, you can reach it overhead. Take one more big breath here and exhale to unwind, coming back down to the earth. Wonderful. So take your hips around to the right side and back over the ankles and over to the left. And take one more of these circles into the hips. And as you come back to center, this time keep the left hand planted. Reach the right arm out to the side of the room and up, And then thread the needle. So the right hand moves into that space between the left wrist and the left knee, coming on to the back of the right shoulder for a thread the needle pose. Now here in this pose, if this is too much of a twist for you, you can also just bring the torso straight down onto the bicep and lay like that. Or you can bring it into the traditional thread the needle. So if you don't feel this in your shoulder, shift the weight in your hips back a little bit. And take 3 to 5 breaths here. Now you can see that my grounded hand, the left hand, is reaching forward, or you can keep it on the ground with your elbow pointed up and this 90-degree bend in the elbow. Breathing into the back of the body here, shining the light through the back of the heart. Press into your hand and begin to unwind. The right hand reaches out to the side of the room and then up for a counter stretch, and then let the hand come back to the earth. So we'll set up this time for the opposite side. So finding that neutral spine in a tabletop position. This time reach your left arm forward and your right leg back. Keep a flex in the foot, the shoulders and the hips are even, and expand and extend from your center. Keeping the belly soft and the back is strong here. Keep hugging in through the center line. So pressing down through the right hand and the left knee. Find a little bit more length through the body. And then allow the leg to stay lifted as you bring the left hand down to the earth. Kickstand the left leg off to the side of the mat and transferring onto that left hand so you can reach the right hand up. Again, keeping the toes flexed, even if they're lifted or even if they're down on the earth. And lift up through that left hip. We're trying to strengthen our side obliques, the side abdominals. So you can keep that hand lifted or overhead. Keeping a small micro bend in that left elbow. That'll help you get out of the shoulder girdle, as well as keeping your hips lifted. Think about stacking the shoulders on top of one another and stacking the hips on top of one another. Take one more big breath here. And then exhale to unwind, coming back down to your tabletop position. This time, the right hand stays planted and the left arm reaches out to the side of the room and up. And then threading the needle, the left hand moves through that space between the right wrist and the right knee, coming down onto the back of the shoulder. Legs are as wide as they need to be to make space for baby. And again, the option is, if this twist does not feel good, you can always just bring your torso or your chest straight down onto the arm. 3 big breaths here. Breathing to the sensation. So wherever you feel this pose, breathe and start your breath from there. I like to think of a big circle or a big sunshine starting at the shoulder blade and growing over the entire body. And then with the exhale, it begins to come back and get smaller into that exact spot where we started. One more breath. And then pressing into the right hand to unwind the body. The left hand reaches out to the side of the room and up toward the ceiling for a counter stretch. And then the hand comes back down to the earth. Beautiful job. Take a seat onto your heels. Grab your blocks or whatever prop you are using. So setting them out in front of you. Start with your right leg or your right foot forward. So I like to keep my left toes tucked underneath me. I'll move to the side angle so that you can see that. So again, the left set of toes is tucked so that we have a little bit more stability in that ankle. If that does not feel good for you, it's okay to leave the lace side of your shoe to the earth. So from here, bring your hands up to your thigh, press into the thigh. Feel as if the right knee is shifting back and the left knee is shifting forward energetically, and then squeeze or hug the thighs in. Hands come to the top of the thigh. Breathe in here. Find more length. Allow the shoulders to soften away from the ears. Soft belly, strong back. And with your next exhale, the hands come down to the blocks. Pick up the left knee. Press the left heel back, and same feeling here. So if you feel like your legs moved or shifted or just by lifting that knee up, we want the same feeling of energetically shifting the right knee back or the right heel back and the left set of toes or leg forward. Now keep pressing through the heel. So our leg is not bent or going to Shavasana early. It's pressing back and it's engaged. And then squeeze both thighs in toward one another to find stability. Your fingertips might be on top of the blocks. Keep that energy in the legs. Reach forward and rise up to a high crescent lunge. Now give your shoulders some space here. So I'm going to switch so you can see. Give your shoulders some space here. So maybe that looks like a wide V. What we don't want is hugging the shoulders up just to extend the arms. So wide V, or even bending the elbows in a cactus pose with a squeeze of the shoulder blades on the back without thrusting the rib cage forward. So we want to keep the rib cage on the back of the body and bend the elbows or widen the arms, whatever feels best for you. Take 2 to 3 more breaths here. This moment, this breath. Building strength in the legs. With the inhale, reach up, maybe find a little bit more length. Exhale, hands come down to the blocks. Lower through the left knee and bring the right knee back to meet the left. Hands can come to the earth, moving the hips from side